In terms of the number of constituencies on offer, Phase 3 is the biggest. All of Gujarat and the entire state of Kerala voted today. But it's not just the numbers that make this round significant. What's at stake for the political parties in the fray? Let's break it down into 5 questions and answers. Question number 1. Can the BJP sweep Gujarat? They got 26 out of 26 the last time. It is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home turf. He's been the state's most powerful leader since 2001 when he became Chief Minister of Gujarat. Modi is arguably the leader with the most reach and influence since being elected as Prime Minister of India in 2014. In the last 2 decades, the BJP has won every election in the state, from the Lok Sabha to the Assembly. In the 2004 Lok Sabha election, the BJP lost power in Delhi, but Gujarat was an exception. Modi's record as Chief Minister and his much-touted Gujarat model helped him clinch election after election. Assembly polls in 2007 and 2012, Lok Sabha elections in 2009 and 2014. The latest marker comes from the 2017 Assembly election. The Congress worked very hard in this election. They stepped up their campaign. It came after the GST, which hurt the textile industry and small traders in Gujarat. The Congress stitched an alliance with OBC leaders with strong voter base, Hardik Patel and Alpesh Thakur. Even Dalit leader Jignesh Mevani helped the Congress's campaign. Basically, everyone joined hands against the BJP. The result was close, but not close enough to challenge the BJP. So what happens this time? A clean sweep seems tough. Rural Gujarat, the trading community in Surat is not happy. The botched-up implementation of the goods and services tax has led to criticism. But Narendra Modi remains Gujarat's voice in Delhi, and the BJP is the overwhelming favourite. With a 50% proven vote share, Gujarat should not be a hurdle for the Prime Minister. Not a clean sweep, but a bulk of these 26 seats, most likely for the BJP. Question number 2. Will the Congress gain in Kerala after Rahul Gandhi's decision to contest from Wayanad? The short answer is yes, they could. Rahul Gandhi's entry has given a boost to the party. The Congress's chances in bastions like the Malabar region look bright. But as I said, it's a bastion. The Congress was supposed to do well there anyway. In 2014, the Congress won 5 out of the 7 seats in this region. The UDF won 12. The Alliance, the Left Alliance, got 8. Kerala sends 20 MPs in all. Will the vote now be split this time? Realistically, in only 3 places, Thiruvananthapuram, Thrissur and Pathanamthitta. It's a 3-way race here. Elsewhere, it's a bipolar contest. If Kerala's elections are about a person, that person is not Rahul Gandhi. It is Pinarayi Vijayan, the Chief Minister and the star campaigner for LDF. Last year, Kerala suffered the worst floods in 100 years. The left-front government claims credit for carrying out relief work on such a huge scale, but not everyone is cheering for their effort. Several reports, in fact, blame the state government for failing to manage dams. Another issue in Kerala's political scene is the violence that we've seen in the state in many districts. The Pinarayi Vijayan government has failed to curb it. Plus the Sabrimala protests, they have polarized the Conservatives and the Liberals in the state. All of this influences voter behavior. Vijayan should pose a major threat to the Congress in North Kerala, while the southern part of the state, which bore the brunt of the floods, could spring a surprise for the left. The Congress may keep its 12 seats, the seats that it currently has, but no one's predicting a surge for them. Question number 3. Who is winning the battles of the bastions? This round has many political dynasties fighting to save their citadels. Sharad Pawar's daughter Supriya Sule looking for a hat-trick in the Baramati seat in Maharashtra. She has been a very active parliamentarian. She remains popular. She looks set to gain from the anti-incumbency both at the state and the central level against the BJP. In Uttar Pradesh, 4 members of the first family of the Samajwadi Party are in the fray, and 2 of them are facing each other. Mulayam Singh Yadav, the patriarch, is seeking re-election from Mainpuri. The last time he won both Azamgarh and Mainpuri. This, he says, is his last election. Mulayam's 2 nephews, Dharmendra Yadav and Akshay Yadav, are trying to retain Badaun and Firozabad. Akshay Yadav is the son of Mulayam's cousin, Ram Gopal Yadav. He is facing his own uncle, Shivpal Yadav, in Firozabad. Shivpal left the Samajwadi Party to create his own outfit, and no discussion on dynasties can be completed without a mention of the Gandhis, so here it is. In Pilibhit, the BJP's Varun Gandhi is locked in a tight contest with Hemraj Verma of the Samajwadi Party. Now, Varun's mother, Menaka Gandhi, won from Pilibhit in 2014. She's had this seat for 30 years. This time, she swapped it with her son. So Menaka will contest from Sultanpur. Despite being a 5-star constituency, Pilibhit remains devoid of development. It's dynasty versus alliance arithmetic of the Gathbandhan in Pilibhit. Question number 4. Who has the edge in Karnataka? Half of Karnataka has voted in this phase. The BJP says that the people in the state have overwhelmingly backed the Prime Minister. It's a bipolar contest here. On the other side is the Congress-JDS alliance. These are images from a railway station that the BJP has released, by the way. Now, the party is hoping to get, the Congress-JDS alliance, by the way, is hoping to get their poll math right to win back northern Karnataka, but they may have lost some in their own stronghold of southern Karnataka. The BJP has made gains there. Besides the Vokaligas, the Lingayats and the Kurubas may choose the BJP. These communities have backed either the Congress or the JDS in the past. Now these parties are together, but that may not apply to their vote bank. In their own rank and file, there is massive discontent. Local Congress leaders are angry with the party for giving away crucial seats to JDS. All of this could work in the BJP's favor. Dakshin Kannada is polarized, so maybe the BJP will retain the bulk of the 17 seats it won from the state, if not improve its tally. Karnataka has a total of 28. Question number 5, our last question. Will the BJP's eastern push yield any results? This is a region which the BJP has prioritized over the past few years. They want to challenge Naveen Patnaik in Odisha. The BJP has stepped up its efforts to make its presence felt in West Bengal. It's looking for significant gains from these two states, Odisha and West Bengal. The party also has an eye on Assam and other northeastern states which account for 25 MPs. Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress is in the pole position in Bengal. The BJP is hoping to be a solid second, but its best chance is Odisha. Amit Shah, the BJP president, is confident they will breach Naveen Patnaik's fort. Several national leaders have campaigned hard here. When the results come out, one of the major states to watch would be Odisha. The BJP hopes to gain in the east what it loses in the heartland. Before this election began, the party was aiming for 35 to 40 seats.